Okay folks, let's get the ball rolling by having a look at Elliott's basic pattern, which is a complete wave cycle comprised of a 5-wave impulse followed by a 3-wave correction. Now here we have it. In green we have our impulse, in blue we have our correction. Now we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves in our impulse and 3 waves in our correction. So as wave 1 comes up and reaches its apex, it's corrected by wave 2. Then we get another impulse which is corrected by wave 4, and then we get another impulse which finishes this complete impulse. Then this whole thing is corrected by A, B, C, our corrective wave. Now, of course this is theoretical and you'll never find one that looks exactly like this, but it's important from a learning point of view to have a basic model or a template to work from. We can use it to explain Elliott's rules and guidelines and the fractal nature of price movement. Now once this cycle is complete, theory says that the cycle starts over again with another impulse, which should look something like this. Here's our impulse, here's our correction, here's our new impulse. Here's our impulse, here's your correction, and our new impulse would come in there. Now have you ever saw me drawing that before? While we're on this diagram, let me explain the fractal nature of price movement and the numbering and lettering system that Elliott developed for it. Now, for our purposes, a fractal is a geometrical structure which is composed of smaller parts which have a very similar geometrical makeup. Now, many of nature's building blocks are fractal, and if you want to know more about it, there's plenty of great videos on YouTube. So as they say, every picture tells 1,000 words. So let's just have a look at this for ourselves. If I draw a line there and put it in as green, and we have our start line down here, and we have this line which is the end of wave 1, and then we put another line in here and make it blue, which is the bottom of our first correction, and then we move over here and we have one that I prepared earlier. And there we see between the start and that line that we drew, the end of wave 1, we have 5 waves. We go back, we see it, there's our wave 1. Now we have 5 waves, which is fractal. In other words, when we draw a wave like this, if we go down to the next time scale and magnitude down, 1 degree of magnitude down, we'll see that it's made up of 5 waves. And the same thing for our corrective wave. Wave 2 can be seen there as an ABC, and then we see wave 3 is a 5-wave impulse, wave 4 is an ABC correction, and wave 5 is an impulse. And then A of our correction is a 5-wave corrective structure, B is a 3-wave corrective structure, and C is a 5-wave corrective structure. Now this can vary, but we'll see this later on when we're looking at corrective structures. Now it also works the other way around. If we go over here, we can see it 1 degree up. In other words, this whole movement is leg 1 or wave 1, and that is wave 2 of the next degree up. Can you see that? That's 1 wave. So we start with 2 waves, 1, 2. If we go down 1 degree of magnitude, we then have 5 waves plus 3, which obviously is 8. And then we go down to the next degree of magnitude and we have a lot more. We have 34 waves. Sorry, I forgot to count them. And while we're here, we'll talk about the number and lettering system that Elliott developed to distinguish between one magnitude and another. So if we look at this, we have, and we're looking at the numbers now guys, not the actual waves. We have Roman numerals, small Roman numerals, and we have ABC, small ABCs. If we go to 1 magnitude up, they're still Roman numerals, but they're slightly bigger, and our ABCs are now in brackets. Now TradingView have made this very simple for us because they've given us a tool to change the numbering system, to change the degree, and we can start with Super Millennium, which is actually a new one This has been developed since Elliott. Elliott only went up to grand supercycle. And the next one down would be millennium, submillennium, grand supercycle. That's the one that Elliott identified. Supercycle, cycle, primary, intermediate, minor, minute, minuet, subminuet, micro, submicro, and mini scale. I think that's the bottom one there. We don't have to stick rigidly to the system, so long as we can tell one degree from another. In other words, if we've numbered this in a particular way, if we said this is primary, then when we're looking at the next level down, we simply go to the next one down from primary, which is intermediate, and we know that that's the next level down from that. Okay folks, I don't want to overcomplicate issues, so that'll do us for now. We'll continue to build on this information in the next video, where we'll learn Elliott's rules and guidelines for his impulse wave.